What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. Little bonus action for you guys this week. I was didn't plan on recording, but I forgot that Impact Wrestling had a pay per view this past weekend, so I'm gonna review that. Slammiversary is their annual pay per view, probably the equivalent to, I want to say, SummerSlam, because Bound for Glory would probably be their WrestleMania. So this is kind of their SummerSlam, Impact Wrestling, and for those of you a little bit of history behind Slammiversary. So it's a pay per view that takes place in June, obviously, but so the company started on June 19, 2002. So this past Sunday night was the exact 20-year anniversary, and Impact held its pay per view on that night. Normally, maybe it falls on like the day before or maybe the day after, but it's very rare that it falls on the actual anniversary of the starting of the company. So yeah, no, it was a very good show. Impact is putting on some very good stuff lately. They have a lot of Ring of Honor guys that since defunct, the company went in a new direction, and when it was bought by Tony Khan, most of the Ring of Honor guys had nothing to do. So they signed with different promotions, and a lot of the top names like the Briscoes and PCO and the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, and a few Ring of Honor Kenny King is another one. Jonathan Gresham, the former Ring of Honor, no, not the former Ring of Honor World Champion, the current Ring of Honor World Champion. He also did a couple of shots for Impact. Yeah, so they're putting on some good stuff lately, and a lot of people when they started said that they wouldn't be around very long. Give them 6 months. You had Dixie Carter. A lot of people were questioning her, saying that she bought a wrestling company but knows nothing about wrestling, which is true at some points. A lot of it was their early stuff was good, and but they also had Jeff Jarrett, who has a great mind for the wrestling business. So but yeah, a lot of it was good. A lot of it was really bad. But hey, they're still here, and glad they are. So with that being said, let's get to the show, man. There was two matches on the pre-show. One of them was for the Digital Media Championship. Championship, which Zack Ryder, oh my god, I'm calling him by his WWE name, Matt Cardona, had a lot to do with. So it's basically like the equivalent of his internet championship that he created back when he was working for WWE. He wasn't getting over, and when he created the internet championship through an imaginary tournament, it got a lot of eyes on him. His YouTube channel started to blow up back in like 2011. So that gave him a significant push. So all these years later, Impact created a championship in that image. So, but he did not defend it. It's currently held by Rich Swann, and Rich Swann ended up successfully defending it against Matt Cardona's best friend, Brian Myers. And yeah, so it was a really good back and forth match. I enjoyed it. And then on the second match on the show, you had a reverse battle royal. So Impact is known for putting their own unique spin on several types of matches. like a reverse battle royal. So basically, for those of you who don't watch wrestling and don't know what a battle royal is, it's basically like maybe 15, 20 competitors, depending on how many you want to put in there. All the competitors start in the ring, and then you eliminate them by throwing them over the top rope, and both feet touching the floor. But in Impact, reverse battle royal, so everybody, all the competitors on start on the outside of the ring and basically have to fight their way in, and the last two people standing. Uh, Actually, there's you get eliminated by pinfall or submission rather than getting thrown out onto the floor again. So basically, and the last person to get the last pin or submission is the winner. So there was a lot of classic teenage superstars such as in this one, such as Shark Boy, who ended up winning the battle royal. He's basically a play on Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it's pretty cool to see, man. Very very good wrestler, very underrated. So he ended up winning the reverse battle royal last night. So yeah, okay. So on the that was the pre-show. So on the main show, you had kicking off the night. You had an Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship. So Ultimate X is basically it's like a combination of a not a ladder match, but it's really high flying because basically the X Division Championship is hanging on two cables, and you gotta kind of climb up on the. There's this apparatus that you have to climb on, and to get to the cables to get the belt, and kind of shimmy across it. So and then you got about six other competitors in there that you need to worry about. So it's a really really tough match, and a lot can go wrong in these matches, but it's very very entertaining to watch. So for this one, you had Trey Miguel, excellent competitor. You had Alex Zane, who's a very very good indie competitor. If you haven't had a chance to watch some of his stuff, please go do. You will not be disappointed if you love high flying stuff. He is awesome. Uh, then you had Speedball Mike Bailey. Now he has a unique story. Basically, he got banned from the United States for 5 years and couldn't work in the United States, so he kind of had to hone his craft all across Canada and Europe and all that good stuff. And now he's able to work in the United States, and Impact Wrestling gave him a shot. I forgot the exact reason why he wasn't able to work in the United States, but yeah, man, that's kind of tough. And then you had somebody who got replaced in the match. I know Andrew Everett was okay. So Andrew Everett, I should say, replaced. Oh my God, who the hell did Andrew Everett replace? Uh, Oh, Jack Evans. There we go. Okay, so Jack Evans, former AEW superstar and Ring of Honor superstar, he was supposed to wrestle, but he got pulled from the match for precautionary reasons, and was replaced by Andrew Everett, another great wrestler. And then you had Ace Austin, who was also in that match, uh, the X Division champion, as a matter of fact. He was in that match. It was, uh, and then yeah, man. So Mike Bailey ended up winning the X Division championship to kick off the night, and it's very very, like I said, it's very very good to see him back wrestling in the United States, and doing his thing in Impact. Okay, so next up you had a video package because they were paying homage to past TNA superstars throughout the night, and there were several callbacks. It was really cool to see. So the first one was Sting. He talked about his time in TNA and the Joker Sting character, which everybody loves to this day. I thought it was probably one of the best characters in his career, aside from the Crow and the incredible run that he's having in AEW now. But I did love his Joker Sting gimmick and also his time in the Main Event Mafia with Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, all those guys. And Booker T. So there, after that package, you had Monsters Ball, which featured Moose and Sami Callihan going at it. So Sami Callihan was injured in September of 2021. Was out for a long while. Just recently came back, and this was his first match back. And then Moose, former Impact World Champion. They did their thing. Man, it was very violent and brutal as these types of matches are. Monsters Ball basically it's a match with weapons and anything goes, man. It's hardcore. Invented by Abyss, another former Impact Wrestling superstar who currently works for WWE as a producer. So yeah, man, he must have been smiling watching because that match was great. Sami Callihan ended up winning with a spike pile driver, which he calls Cactus Jack 97, named after Cactus Jack, another version of a character that Mick Foley came up with. Y'all may know him as Mankind or Dude Love. Cactus Jack was another iteration of his character to showcase the more extreme side of him. And Sami Callihan won with Cactus Driver 97, as they call it. There were thumbtacks. Sami Callihan pulled at a barbed wire door at one point. It was just pure mayhem, and I was all here for it. Okay, so next up you had Honor No More, which was a team of Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Vincent. Oh my God! How did I forget? Harkening back to that X Division match for 1 second, I forgot Kenny King, who is a member of Honor No More, and also a former TNA Impact original. He was in that match too, so I forgot about Kenny King. My apologies. Shout out to Kenny King, excellent competitor. So back to the tag team, the 10-man tag team match. So it was Honor No More with the rest of Honor No More, I should say. It was PCO, Matt Taven, Vincent, Mike Bennett, and Eddie Edwards, taking on the team of Impact Originals, the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, Frankie Kazarian, AEW superstar, also TNA Impact original, Nick Aldis, who used to be known as Magnus in TNA, and what do you call it? Their mystery partner, which ended up being Davey Richards, which is an intriguing choice because Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards used to be tag team partners in a team called the American Wolves or the Wolves, whichever you wanna call it. Oh man, sorry about that. That's my ringtone going off in the back. My apologies. And my apologies. So yeah, man. Holy crap. Okay, so Davey Richards, and Eddie Edwards were a team called the Wolves in TNA and on the independent circuit. So that was a really interesting choice. Uh, you know, it was a really back and forth, fun back and forth 10-man tag. Lots of great spots. Kaz hit the flux capacitor, which is a top rope Spanish fly, and the Spanish fly is a move where the one opponent is got the other opponent perched on the top rope, and they're both facing each other, and then basically the person executing the move does like a backflip with all their weight coming down on the other person. It looks really, it sounds devastating, but and it is, but it's also really really pretty to watch. So yeah, on and no more, and I ended up taking the losing fall when Davey Richards pinned PCO. And then, it was really cool to see. Earl Hebner was in the crowd, a former TNA referee, and his son Brian was refereeing the match. And what do you call it? But Brian was knocked out, so Earl Hebner ended up counting the pinfall, and then former knockout Tracy Brooks got involved when Maria Kanellis, who was at ringside, got involved in the match. It was that was pretty cool to see. So a lot of nice callbacks to the original days, and the ring announcer for that match was Christy Hemme, former WWE and TNA knockout. So that was pretty cool to see. She's still looking fine as ever these days. Uh, so yeah, and then let's see what else after that 10-man tag, you had another video package with this time giving thanks to Mike Tenay and Don West, the original commentary voices for TNA. Uh, Major shout out to Mike Tenay. I always loved his commentary. He's so knowledgeable about the wrestling business and international wrestlers, and he's just a joy to listen to on commentary, man. They don't call him the professor for nothing. And Don West, man, so entertaining. He's a fan just like all of us, man. Even if you're in the business, you started out as a fan, as like I did, and then later on transitioned to the other side of the guardrail, as we like to call it. But at the end of the day, we're all fans, man. We love this. So and Don West is going through a major battle with leukemia right now. Major prayers and a major shout out to him. He's got a GoFundMe up. Think it's I think it's called I think it's GoFundMe.com slash Team Don West against leukemia or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So definitely, man. Don West, speedy recovery, man. We love you. We're pulling for you. So yeah, they got a nice video package for Don West, and then you had the after that, you had the Knockouts Tag Team Championships being defended. So it was the Influence, which consists of Madison Rain and Tennille Dashwood. Madison Rain has been around a long time in TNA. She's been around not since its inception, but for a long time. I think since like 2008, 2009. So she's been in the company a long time. And then Tennille Dashwood, formerly Emma in WWE, but she's a very, very good women's wrestler. And they went up against a team of Rosemary, who is also a very, very good female, who was also a very, very good wrestler. And Taya Valkyrie, she's a former Knockouts champion and former, and also the current Reina de Reinas AAA champion. for those of you who don't know, Queen of Queens in AAA promotion in Mexico. So she's the Queen of Queens champion over there. So it's basically their version of a women's title over there. Uh, so yeah, no, and Rosemary and Ty Valkyrie ended up becoming the new Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. So that is Ty Valkyrie's a double champion, and good for Rosemary to for her to get a great shot. Uh, and then what? Okay, so then after that, they had a very. It was very very surprising to see this. You know, they aired a video message from AJ Styles, which you know, props to WWE for letting him do it because they knew how special TNA was to him, and that's what he was saying in the video. You know, his time in TNA and everything that he did, and the match with the triple threat match that he had with Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels back in 2005, man, probably one of the greatest matches in TNA history. And not just TNA history, pro wrestling history. It was a great match, man. You know, those guys weren't wearing 6'5", jacked up, and you know, Samoa Joe is a big 300-pound guy, but can move like he's like 130. So, and then Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles, those guys, 5'11", maybe 230, 240. So yeah, very contrasting styles, but it was a very very good match. Those two, every time all three of those guys were in the ring, they left it all out, and that's what you want to see, man. They made magic together. So it was good to see AJ Styles on TNA pay-per-view, just giving an ode to the company that kind of defined his career. You know, he was in he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's in WWE now, but TNA kind of molded and shaped his career in order for him to do those things, and he was also in Ring of Honor too. Yeah, no, that was nice to see. And then you had the Queen of the Mountain match. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the Queen of the Mountain is basically a reverse ladder match. So normally when you have a ladder match for a championship, you have to hang. The belt is hanging above the ring on a cable, and you have to use a ladder to go get it. So it used to be called the King of the Mountain, but since there's women, this is the first time that all women are doing it. They decided to call it Queen of the Mountain. So basically, in this match, it's a reverse ladder match. So basically, instead of the championship start hanging above the ring, the competitor who wins the match, in order to win the match, I should say, you have to actually hang the championship above the ring to win the match, and then the person who gets pinned during the match, like the person who gets there's pinfalls and submissions also. So and then that's a thing that comes into play. So the thing with that is, if you get pinned or you tap out, the person who tapped out has to spend 2 minutes in the penalty box. It's like a hockey thing. It's like a square box, and it's really weird. And then the person who pinned the person that's in the penalty box is eligible to hang the championship. So you have to gain a pinfall or submission to be eligible to win the championship, to hang the championship. So you had in the match, you had Tasha Steelz, who was the current champion, Jordan Grace, Chelsea Green, wife of Matt Cardona, very very good wrestler in her own right, and what do you call it? Chelsea Green, Jordan Grace, Tasha Steeles, Deanna Perrazzo, and Mia Yim also. Mia Yim was in that match too, and yeah, no. So it was a good match, man. Good to see Mia Yim back doing her thing after being let go from WWE earlier this year. Uh, no, it was a good back and forth match, and Jordan Grace ended up winning the match and taking home the Knockouts Championship. Mickey James was the guest enforcer. She got involved she had beef with Tasha Steeles and Chelsea Green, so she ended up getting involved. But it was a really good, really fun match to watch. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a whole lot. And then you had the Impact World Tag Team Championships on the line. You had the Briscoes of Ring of Honor fame. Fun fact, they also got their major debut in Impact. In 2002. Fresh 18-year-old kids, man, just coming up in the business. And then what do you call it? And then you have the Good Brothers, man, who have been all over the world, Japan, WWE, everywhere, man. Yeah, no. So the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, ended up picking up the win and becoming the new tag team champions. So that was a very good match right there. Very physical, as you would expect from these two teams. So yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, and then it was time. It was time for your main event after that, man. Your main event for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Josh Alexander, the Walking Weapon, the champion, taking on Eric Young, leader of Violent by Design, with a stable that he's in with that he leads, consisting of Joe Doring, Cody Deaner, and yeah, no, so Joe Doring and Cody Deaner, that man, they did a lot of they do a lot of damage to a lot of people, man, and that match was physical as all hell, man. A lot of callback to former TNA superstars. Eric Young pulled up the stroke by Jeff Jarrett, which is and then what do you call it? Josh Alexander did the power bomb into the Boston Crab, a move made famous by Samoa Joe. Just what do you call it? The Unprettier was used man. It was just a whole hodgepodge of TNA callbacks. That was really fun to see, man. Josh Alexander ended up picking up the win after hitting the C4 on Eric Young, man. So yeah, it was a very, very good pay-per-view, man. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, but props to TNA for putting on a great show, man. Yeah, so definitely if you can check out the replay, definitely do. And as for this vlog, that is going to do it. And I apologize for my phone going off, man, during the vlog. I hate that. Yeah, that's going to do it for this vlog. Like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.